Gantry end plates are here. Nice little aluminium version of what we 3D printed. And I'll just keep these on the shelf. If I do another build, I'm bound to use these again. I'm pretty happy with this linear motion setup that I've done here. And I had to take off gantry plate in here, so this sliding part in here, to put in some extra shims inside the bearings. So where I said before we had two bearings in there that were butted up close to each other, so basically where you can see the little line in between these two here, there's supposed to be a little shim in there, and I did have to put the shim in because where we've got the, I don't know if you can see there's like an off-centered or cam bolt fitting, and to turn that and adjust it so it was sitting well inside the V rails there, I couldn't get to tighten it up enough for it to be able to move as well, so I had to take them apart and put the shims in, but that's done. Both the steppers are mounted to the gantry now, and as I showed you before, we've got the pinion gear in there nicely housed into the rack, so there's pretty much 100% connection on that. There'll be no slop on that, no slack. Just done the other side as I've shown you, which came up nice, and you can see in there how well that sits. And the brackets are working well, so that's something that is pretty much new to the CNC world, is that little bracket I've made. But it's helped me make this more compact. You can see nothing is poking out on the sides really, except for the edge of the brackets there. Anyway, next bit to go on, I'm going to put the top brack on and then get that pinion set up. And then that's pretty much all the mechanics done. And then it'll be over to electronics. Right, we're all in. This rack and pinion is now done on the top. No interference at all, which is nice. And like I said, probably earlier in this video, I don't know if you can see, but I had to redo all these. So I had to countersink them and use the countersunk screws because the socket heads were catching. So all the steppers are now mounted. There's some good rigidity in the frame now, in the gantry now, so that's nice. And there's a couple of things that I need to just explain. So these steppers, I have put the cables on the outside so I can route them up through there, and then I'll 3D print a bracket. Both these steppers are, it's hard to show you, hang on. Both these steppers are mounted with the cables coming out in a similar direction, and there's going to be a drag chain, so I changed my mind. This one also going up like this, you might have noticed that I put that on the wrong way around, but I've changed it now. Anyway, I've designed this drag chain, and there's a few different elements to it. It's a bit brittle. I've tried, this is a silk PLA from the 3D printer, and I actually tried with this PLA Plus, which the black ones are. But I'll show you the components. So we've got an end piece. I still need to make another one of these. So this is the piece that would mount to the frame, or if I make a bracket that's going to attach near the stepper, it'll be pretty similar to this, but potentially have a bigger back back wall on there with some holes in, but these are all spaced for like clearance for M5s. Then there's, I'm going to show you on the silvers because they're a bit easier to see. Then there's just a standard piece, just like this black piece here. So the standard piece has no fixing holes in it for zip ties, and then this is the piece that has the zip tie fixing holes in it, and that will fit up to a 5mm wide zip tie. What that means is I can put these together, and it's quite a nice way they fit as well. Put these together in some kind of order, so it's alternating, or maybe every 2 of the blanks we have one with a zip tie fitting in. So if you have a look there, we've got blank zip tie, blank blank zip tie, and then the end piece has just broke, but we'll print that in the other stuff later on so it's not so brittle. Then you'll basically have the bit that mounts to the machine with the M5 holes. Then you'll have cables sitting inside here. You can tuck a zip tie through those 2 square holes in there, which you can see better on the back, and then that will hold the cables in. Then the drag chain, if people don't know, basically works like this. If you've got something moving like we've got on our axis, it will pick it up and pull it along like this. So it will take the cables with it and keep them nice and tidy, and there's no real sideways movement. And I've also designed it so they catch like that, so they can't do, so when they're upside down they can't sag too much. I could have changed those to a better tolerance, but it is what it is. And this is version 2 of what I started to print. The first version was a lot more stupid and clumsy than this, but this is a really good idea. And also from a printing perspective, I can print them this way up, whereas a lot of people end up printing theirs that way up, which gives you a bit of weakness here and there, and also you have to have loads of supports for all the bits and bobs. But this way I can print it with no supports. Even the little tabs, let me show you on this one, even the little tabs on here didn't need a support either. You can see they're perfectly printed on the edge there. Let's get that looked at. So you can see there they're perfectly printed on the edge. But yeah, that's the drag chain. And there's a little time lapse of him printing, which I'll chuck in now, and that'll be it. So see you next time.